All right, welcome everybody. Let's take a look at how we can make our game. So let's go to iOS here and let's pick game. Now you want to make sure that you're in your iOS area here and you pick your game, and we'll say that this is pick the right color for iPhone, and I give a production number. Language Swift, game technology SpriteKit, and a device will be iPhone. I'm going to go ahead and push create there. And as you can see, we now have everything working. Let's go ahead and let's run it. And while it's running, you want to select the game scene.swift, and you can click these two buttons to get out of that here. So there we go. It works. You always want to test to see if everything works. And we want to make sure that we delete all of our extraneous code. So you have something that looks like this. All right. And this is the minimum amount of code you need to kind of make a game. You have your starting function, your update function, as well as your input function. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in our squares here. So let's say square 0 is equal to sk sprite node. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and paste it. And I'm going to say square 1 and then var square 2 and then var square 3. All right, so we got square 0, 1, 2, and 3. So there's 4 squares in total. I'm just starting from counting from 0 instead of 1. All right, and what we can do is we can add in a var. We'll call this square size, make that equal to a CG size, and we can give it a size, let's say 150 by 150. Okay, that works out quite well. And what we'll also do is we'll add in our labels here. So we'll add in an LBL main, and what we'll do is we'll make that equal to an SK label node. And I'll copy that, and we'll add in an LBL score, paste it in here. If you know you're making a lot of the same kind of items, for example, a lot of sprite nodes or label nodes, you can go ahead and copy it. It's a lot easier. And we'll add in a timer. So we'll call this LBL timer. And this is going to create another timer. So our main label is not going to be our timer here. It's going to be a different here. We're going to add in a offset here. So we'll call this square position offset. And we'll make it a CG float. The reason is that we're going to add in this float to another area of the code where it requires a CG float. And we'll just say 100 for now, but most likely we'll have to come back and tweak that to make it look just right. We're going to add in our off-white color, make it equal to UI color, and we'll say that this off-white color will be 0.98. I push tab and 1.0. We'll call this var off black color, make it equal to UI color, and we'll make this 0.2 and 1.0. All right, so now that we have our colors here, what we can do is we can add in some different colors to make it work here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say var, we'll call it color 0, and we'll make that equal to UI color, and we'll make it .orange color. So we'll add in a total of 4 colors here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste it so you can easily move around here. So you can see how easy that was just by simply copying and pasting something. And we can go orange, and then we'll pick green, and we'll most likely have to change these and theme the colors later on, meaning that we'll pick a color scheme that works. Because even though it's green, the colors cannot match. And this is one of the biggest things I notice when I'm looking at amateur games, is that the colors are all wrong. Okay, we'll say red color. Let's see, we can I tend to not like using red as much as possible because red is usually a warning symbol. So sometimes you have to do it. So we got orange, green, blue, and we could add in like purple. Okay, and this color scheme works out pretty well. The blue and purple are a little bit more neutral. Green is usually associated with going, like a green traffic light, and orange is also kind of neutral. It's maybe a little bit of a warning, but green and red are the ones that you should always try and use more carefully. Like you don't want to make your enemies green if you can't help it. There's certain circumstances that it works here, okay? So let's add in a bunch of incorrect colors as well. So in save, we'll say incorrect color, and we need to add in these colors because we're going to simply just add in colors that don't make any sense here. So we'll say that yellow color var, and then we'll call it incorrect color, make that equal to dot red color, and then var incorrect. Now one thing that you'll notice is I want to put 1, 2, and 3, or 0, 1, and 2, and we got red, green, blue, purple, and if we want to, we could actually do this UI color dot light gray color. Okay, and that way, it's still not a color, but it does work in this particular instance. And there is no pink color actually, which if anyone from Apple is listening, I highly recommend that you add in a pink color. All right, or like especially the colors in the crayon box. Okay, we now need to add in a string here. So we're going to add in a var here. We'll say that this is, we'll call this color array string is equal to orange, and then we're going to say it's green, and then comma, we're going to say this is blue, comma, and will be purple. And just for consistency sake, you should always capitalize this because we are going to be printing these. All right. What we also need is a color array choice. We are going to select one of these items here. And remember, the items of an array start at 0. So this is the 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index. And notice how we go 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So we're starting counting at 0, not 1. We'll add in a var here. We'll call this correct square. So we're going to pick the correct square via random. And I'm going to say var touch location is equal to CG point. We're going to store the touch location, and then we're going to also have the touched node is equal to SK node. Okay, and we're going to take care of the score is equal to 0, and then we're also going to say is alive is equal to true. Okay, and then we'll go count down timer var, and we'll make that equal to 13. Okay, and I'll explain why it's exactly 13 and more closely in another tutorial. But essentially, it's going to wait for 3 seconds, and we want a 10-second timer. Before we end this tutorial, let's take a look at this 4 touches here and type in touch location. That way, everything will work out just quite nicely because this touch location will store the data of wherever you touch. All right, this concludes the tutorial.